You know, we're standing right at the edge of a really profound shift in artificial intelligence. We're moving way beyond the simple chatbots we've all been playing with to something much, much more powerful. Something that doesn't just talk, but actually does things.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. When the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman himself, points to the creator of a brand new open source project and calls him a genius, you know something big is going down. That project is called OpenClaw, and believe me, it is the epicenter of this entire change.
Okay, so let's really dive into this. The core idea? It's actually pretty simple, but at the same time, it's totally revolutionary. AI is no longer just responding to whatever we type in a prompt. No, it's starting to act on its own, to actively pursue the goals we give it.
So, you might be wondering, how is this any different from something like ChatGPT? Well, think about it like this. Generative AI, the stuff we know, it just responds to your prompts inside a little chat window. But Agentic AI, it acts on your goals. It doesn't just live in a chat box, it operates across all your apps. It remembers what you talked about last week and it learns. It's really the difference between a helpful research assistant and a tireless digital deputy that's working for you 24/7. All right, let's get into the tech that's making all these waves. We're talking about an open source framework called OpenClaw and what a lot of people are calling the rise of agents.
190,000. Just look at that number. That's how many stars the OpenClaw project got on GitHub in just a couple of months. Now, to give you some perspective, its popularity grew 18 times faster than something as foundational as Kubernetes. That's not just growth, my friends. That is an absolute explosion.
So what in the world is OpenClaw? Well, it's not another chatbot. A much better way to think of it is as a local orchestration layer, or maybe even a life OS. It's an open source framework that basically hands language models the keys to your computer, your files, your apps, your tools, and lets them act on your behalf around the clock right there on your own machine.
So what are people actually doing with all this power? Well, the early results are just staggering. Get this, agents have disputed insurance claims and actually won. They've automated the entire nightmare of medical billing and booking doctor's appointments. One developer even had their agent monitor their health data from a Whoop strap and automatically adjust their air purifier. And for coders, these things are fixing software bugs and managing entire code repositories overnight while they sleep.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, the economics. People are creating these little teams of specialized agents, one for customer support, another one for code review, and they let them work together. The result? Absolutely dramatic cost reductions. By just using simpler AI models for simple tasks like answering a basic refund question, a customer support agent's monthly cost can plummet by 74%. This is making incredible power incredibly accessible to pretty much everyone. But and there's always a but, isn't there? This incredible power doesn't come for free. It comes with some serious risks, which brings us to our second section, the dangerous price of convenience.
I mean, think about it for a second. When you give an AI the keys to your entire digital kingdom, when you let it read all your files and control all your apps, you just have to ask yourself, what really lies behind all this power? The answer, at least initially, was a complete and utter security nightmare. In its early days, OpenClaw was just riddled with catastrophic vulnerabilities. We're talking one-click hacks that could take over your computer, multiple command injection flaws. There was even a supply chain attack where hundreds of malicious skills were uploaded to its community marketplace. The terrifying result was that a user's entire system could be taken over from just a single bad link. It turned this helpful assistant into what security pros call shadow AI. And all of this exposed a brand new, and honestly kind of sneaky type of attack, indirect prompt injection. Here's how it works. An attacker hides malicious instructions inside the data the AI is supposed to process, say in an email or on a website. The agent reads that data, just doing its job, but the hidden command tricks it into doing something harmful, like stealing your data. It completely erases the line between information and instruction. But you know what? All those security holes, they didn't stop the major players, not one bit. Instead, it kicked off this furious race to control the future of agentic AI. And what we're seeing now is that each tech giant is carving out its own unique strategy in this new arms race. OpenAI, well, they hired OpenClaw's creator and are baking this power right into ChatGPT, which threatens the whole software as a service market. Anthropic is zeroing in on high-security, enterprise-grade tools for developers.
Nvidia is building a secure corporate alternative with a massive memory, or context window, to avoid what's called a thinking tax, the cost of rereading information. And Meta, they're playing a whole different game, trying to control the identity and communication layer for the coming machine-to-machine economy. So this battle between the giants isn't just some tech world drama. It is actively shaping our future right now, which leads us to our final section, how this tech is going to reshape all of our worlds. And let me tell you, the next few years are going to move fast. By August 2026, the EU's AI Act will be fully enforced, making human oversight a legal requirement. By 2027, more than half of all businesses are expected to be using Agentic AI. That's going to give rise to a whole new legal field called Agentic Law by 2028. And by 2030, this technology is predicted to add up to $13 trillion to the global economy every single year.
Now, in response to all those risks, a new corporate safety standard is starting to pop up. Think of it as the 3 lines of defense model for managing these powerful new digital employees. First up is sandboxing. You isolate every single task in its own temporary, throwaway environment. Second, identity control. You get rid of those old static API keys and replace them with strict one-time use permissions. And third, and this is the big one, the human in the loop. You require a real person's approval for any high-risk action, like moving money or deleting important files. 80%, just let that number sink in for a second. According to a McKinsey survey, that's how many companies are adopting AI agents, with the main goal of improving efficiency. This isn't just about a cool new tool anymore. This is a fundamental shift in how work itself gets done, and that, of course, has massive implications for the workforce, for all of us. And that brings us to the final, and I think most critical question. AI agents aren't really just software anymore. For all practical purposes, they are our new digital employees. They work 24/7, they learn on the job, and they take initiative. So the question for every single one of us is, are we ready for that? Are we ready to be their managers?